Hi and welcome to Love Doing Yoga on this Monday evening. Hope you had a lovely weekend and enjoyed that lovely crisp cold weather that we're having at the moment. Our theme today is we're going to just focus on the breath and really starting to use the breath to help us in each of the poses. As ever, throughout the practice, only listen to your body. No, not only listen to your body, listen to me as well. But do listen to your body too, and only do what your body feels like it is able for it today. Take rests whenever you need to. And let us begin by lying down. So find yourself a nice, comfortable position on the mat. You can have the knees bent or the legs out straight, whatever works for you today. As you just begin to let go of the day. Let go of everything that's going on in your life. Let go of everything that's going on in the world. And let go of all of your responsibilities and roles. Let go of the past. Let go of the future. And move into the present moment. Just starting to become aware of the sounds around you. All of the sounds, near and far, loud and soft. Allow them to fill you. Letting them drift through you. There's no need to identify them, but do notice them in all their different forms. And if your mind wanders, that's fine. Just gently bring it back to the sounds in the room. And just begin to make out the sound of your breath. Listening to yourself inhaling through your nose into your belly and exhaling through your nose. And as you're breathing here, in and out through your nose, just check in with your jaw, that all tension is gone from it. That your teeth are a little bit apart from each other. That the jaw is soft. And then putting your fingers onto your belly, inhaling, allowing the belly to fill as you inhale, and your fingers touching at the start, gently coming apart as you inhale, and then coming back to touch as you exhale. So that you're consciously directing your breath into your stomach. And then bringing your hands onto your rib cage, Inhaling and allowing your ribs to expand on the inhale and to contract on the exhale. Moving the breath now so that you're breathing in and out of the rib cage. And then allowing the breath to become really shallow and just breathing into the upper part of your chest. So that it doesn't reach your rib cage or your belly. And then once again, breathing back into the belly. Now let's think about combining those breaths. So let's take half of your breath into your belly, then almost all of the rest of it into your rib cage, and the last little bit that's left into your chest, and then exhaling. And again, inhaling half of your breath, filling the belly, then the next 40% or so filling the rib cage, the last 10% into the chest, and exhale one more time. Belly, rib cage, chest, and exhale. Good, and allowing the breath to go back to the belly. That sectional breathing is called the full yogic breath. Really good to do, and really good for you to understand how you control your breath and how you can move it around your body. And when you're ready, if your knees aren't already bent, just bend those knees and hug the knees into the chest as I say hi to, the page has fallen down so I can't see everybody, okay. Hi to Tara and Jane and Sharon and Maria and our newest patron Roisin and Mags and Annalise and Anka, who I know are joining us tomorrow from Belgium. So, and of course everybody who's joining us on catch up. Lovely to have you all with us this evening. With the knees hugged into the chest, just beginning to massage it out a little bit here. And then coming to stillness, let's just circle those ankles. First in one direction and then in the other. And then coming to stillness here, crunching or scrunching the toes in, holding them and then opening them out wide. And scrunching them in and opening them out. And scrunching them in and opening them out. Good. Letting the hands come down by your sides. Let's just begin to cycle here. And you can go as fast or as slow as you like here as we just start to warm up a little bit. And if you want to bring some core in here as well, you can start to lower those legs down a little bit more towards the floor. So whatever works for you right now, just as part of our warm up as we stay here for 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and hugging those knees into the chest again. Bringing both hands onto the right shin, stretch that left leg out, pushing out through the heel. Let it hover off the mat as you draw the right leg in towards the armpit. I'm breathing into this. And then let's swap it over, holding on to that left shin, reaching out with the right leg, pushing out through the heel of that right leg, letting it hover over the ground. And drawing both legs back, hugging them in once more. Then letting the feet drift down onto the mat as we roll over onto the left side and straightening up your thighs so they're parallel with the short side of the mat and your shins are parallel with the long side of the mat. And letting your right palm rest on top of your left palm as the arms are out in front of you. And we're going to just raise this right arm over, following our gaze with it as it comes all the way over to the right. And bringing it back. And again, following it with our gaze as it comes to the right, adjust your shoulders so that your right shoulder blade can at least get nearer to the mat, if not touch it. And drawing it back. And one more time, bringing it all the way over, following it with your gaze, adjusting. And all the way back. Good. And then let's just take this over to the other side. Again, lining up those legs so the thighs are parallel with the short side of the mat. The shins are parallel with the long side. Left palm on top of right. And let's bring that left arm all the way over, adjust the shoulders, following it with your gaze, and drawing it all the way back. Again, over to the left, and back, and one more time. And all the way back. Good. And from here, bringing yourself up to sitting. Sitting up nice and tall here, checking in with the seat bones, just becoming aware of your having equal weight on both seat bones. If you can't quite feel them, you can move a little bit of the padding out of the way so that you can feel them. And with the legs, we want to be a little bit of softness at the knees and having the toes pointing up to the ceiling. Sitting up nice and tall here with the ears over the shoulders and shoulders over the hips. And as we're here, let's just check in with the breath. Inhaling into the nose, in through the nose into the belly. And exhaling through the nose. And I'm just noticing as you breathe if there's a nice gentle flow to the breath, or is it getting caught somewhere? Is there a bit of tension there? And seeing, can you help it to flow? And now as we breathe, let's think about finding a little bit of extra space and length in the spine. Almost like we're growing up from our mat, through our seat bones, all the way up to the crown of the head. Finding space, just opening up little spaces between the spine to help us grow. Taking 2 more breaths here. And then bending the knees up a little bit. We're going to bend from the hips, having the chest move towards the thighs. So we're keeping a nice long spine here. We don't want to be rounding in order to reach it. Keep the spine nice and long, keeping that space and length you've created with your breath. And from here, just again, connecting with your breath, inhaling, finding that length and space, and exhaling, letting yourself just sink a little deeper in towards your thighs. And if this is enough for you, stay there. If you'd like a little bit more, you can begin to just let the legs move a little bit further away from you and see, can you lower yourself down a little bit deeper. We're going to keep the hands either side of the knees here, just to help you have that nice long spine. Sometimes when we put the hands forward towards the feet, it starts to round the shoulders a bit. So just to help us keep that spine nice and long, have your hands either side of your knees. Inhaling, finding that length. Exhaling, seeing, can that breath help you get another little bit deeper, a little bit lower. Two more breaths here. Thinking about lengthening as you inhale, deepening as you exhale. Excuse me. And then making your way back up to sit up tall and bending both knees in quite tightly. Let the toes point to the outside. We're going to move forward into our squat. So see how you get on with this. Some of you I know will find this quite simple, and some of you will find it quite challenging. So first of all, you don't have to have your heels on the floor. You can have be up on your toes. You might find that a little bit easier. You don't have to have your hips bent this much. You can be up a little bit higher and keep your hands on the floor. So whatever works for you, find your place in this squat and see wherever you are in it, can you bring that length once again into the spine. Inhaling, finding the length. Exhaling, putting your elbows onto your knees, can you begin to open them out a little bit? And one more breath here. And then letting your hands come onto the mat if they're off it. We're going to begin to rise up into a forward fold. So you're going to straighten your feet out as you rise so that they're hip distance apart and the toes facing towards the top of the mat as you rise up. So turning the toes in, having the knees nice and bent to start with, letting the hands come down onto the floor, and just begin to straighten the legs as much as is comfortable for you. So how much bend you have in your knees doesn't matter. We just want a nice long spine in this forward fold. And again, using your breath to help you here. Inhaling, lengthening the spine. Exhaling, going a little deeper into your forward fold. Two more breaths here.
Good. I'm bending those knees generously once more. Heel toe the feet together so the toes are touching and the heels are a little bit apart. And keeping the knees bent, I'm going to lift the hands away from the mat, drawing the upper body up but keeping the knees bent. And either staying here, you might want to have your hands on your hips, or raise the arms up too. Let's see, can we recruit a breath that's really going to help us here? So we want to use a breath that will help us strengthen the core. Inhaling into the belly. As you exhale, lift that pelvic floor, draw the belly button up. Noticing how the breath can help you in the pose. With that exhale, just drawing up the pelvic floor and the belly button. And one more breath. And standing all the way up, let the hands come down and the palms face forward. And as you're standing here, you can just heel toe those feet out a little bit so that they're hip distance apart. And letting the palms face forward. Checking in with the feet that they're in a nice straight line, equal weight across both feet. Having the knees with a little micro bend, so we never want to lock the knees, always have a little teeny tiny bend in them. And then the shoulders over the hips. Having that chin parallel with the floor. And let the palms face towards the front. And again, thinking about as we inhale, just opening up, finding that space in the spine. Almost feeling ourselves grow out of the ground. And then connecting the breath to the arms and the hands as we inhale, allowing the arms to just move away from the sides gently, and as you exhale, letting those hands drift back towards the sides. Good. 2 more breaths here. And bringing the hands onto the hips, we're going to come onto the long side of the mat. Good. And here, letting those legs open out nice and wide as is comfortable for you to go. And we're going to bend forward. So again, thinking about bending from the hips, letting that chest lead as you allow that chest to move towards your thighs, and letting the hands come onto the mat when you get low enough. Bend your knees as much as you need to, so we don't want to overstrain the legs. And then when you get to your point, your max point, let's just dwell here a little bit and go back to the breath. Inhaling, finding that space and length in the spine. Exhaling, seeing, can you get a millimeter deeper? Almost feeling like that breath is just powering you. It's just giving you that extra space, giving you that extra depth. Working with it like you're in partnership together. And one more breath here. Good. And slowly starting to just rise the body up a little bit, letting the hands come forward so your shoulders are over your wrists. And you might want to bring your feet in just a little bit. And we're going to swivel on this right heel. So being conscious that you're turning the whole of the right leg towards the top of the mat from the hips. You might want to put your hand on the top of your hip here as you turn to feel that whole leg turn, bending that right knee. And let that left foot turn inwards so it's facing towards this left-hand corner of the mat. Having the heels in line and rising the body up. Good, well done. And from here, once again, finding length in the spine as we open the arms out into a T, softening the shoulders. Good, looking out over that right arm. Let's reach forward with this right arm. Good, and bending the left elbow, let it come onto that right leg. And just draw the left hand straight up so it's pointing up at the ceiling. And you've got a really nice open chest, open body. Everything is facing towards this long side of the mat in a nice straight line all the way. Good. And you may want to stay here, or you might want to, keeping that arm pointing up to the ceiling, begin to let this hand come away from the thigh and point towards the mat. And you may want to start to bring a little bit of straightness into this front leg. And if you're facing towards the front, you might want to turn your gaze up to the ceiling. So any of those things. So anywhere from here with your arm on your thigh to here with the legs straight. Wherever works for you in this triangle pose. But what we want to be really sure of is that our shoulders are stacked on top of each other. The whole front of that body is nice and open. Breathing into it. See, can you put a little bit more weight into that back foot, the outside edge of that back foot. And one more breath here. And let's slowly make your way up as we take it over to the other side. So again, going at it quite slowly, turning the whole of that leg towards the back of the mat. Bending the left knee, let that right foot just turn inwards slightly so it's looking at the right edge of the back of the mat. Letting both hands come out into your T, softening those shoulders. Inhaling into the belly. Exhaling, reaching forward. And then windmilling down, let the elbow bend and rest on the thigh, letting that right hand come up straight over the head. So the whole body is nice and open. Keeping that openness feeling, then you can start to build on this if you wish by taking the hand or the arm off that leg and bringing some straightness into the leg. So all the time being really aware of the front of your body staying nice and open. Breathing into it.
one more breath here. And then letting that arm come down and the body come up. Turning the toes to the front and heel toeing the feet back together again as we go to the top of the mat. And standing up tall, let's just raise those arms up. Sweeping them out to the side, we're going to come into a forward fold. And from here, making your way all the way down to all fours. Good, just checking in here with your position in your tabletop, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Keeping the gaze on the mat in front of you, nice long spine. And let's draw this right knee up to the right wrist and let that right foot come across in front of the left knee. And then we're going to walk this left leg back for our pigeon pose, but we're going to try and take a half pigeon. So keeping the torso upright, as upright is comfortable for you, so you don't have to be completely up. You can be a little bit forward. And as we're here, again, checking in with the breath. Can it flow freely here? And as you inhale, can you find that length and space in the spine? And as you exhale, softening into the pose. Two more breaths here. Good, and letting those hands come out in front as we draw that right leg back and bring the left leg up. So the left knee comes up to that left wrist, walking the foot across in front of that right knee, and let that right leg walk backwards and just bring the torso up as much as is comfortable for you. And you can, if you're able, which I'm not because my hips are not that open, you can bring your shin in a more of a straight line if you're able to. And again, letting the focus go to the breath here as you just relax into the pose. Don't get all worried about how you are. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Oh, am I flexible enough? Just relax into the pose and let the pose do its work. Inhaling, finding length. Exhaling, softening into it. So this pose is really helping to stretch out that left glute. You're getting a nice stretch into that back leg, the right leg as well. A little bit of a back bend, an opening of the chest. So this pose, you've just put your body into the position where it's doing all of this work for you. So just allow it to do its job. Inhale. In, apologies, Alan hit something there on the phone that made a noise, so I'm sorry about that. Inhale, find that length. Exhale, ease into it. And one more breath here. Good.
And coming back onto all fours and just push out into a child's pose, whatever child's pose you like here. So it could be with your arms out or with your arms behind you or with your knees out at the edge and one fist on top of the other. So this is a resting pose. Find the one that suits you best. And taking 2 more breaths here. And then slowly making your way up. And once again coming to sit. And we're going to sit with the knees bent this time. And just moving back a little bit on your seat bones so you can lift your feet up off the mat, finding your point of balance here. And checking in here with the spine, inhaling, finding that length and space as you exhale, drawing that pelvic floor up and the belly button in and up to give you stability. Nice long spine, staying here, or if you want a little bit more, you can hold on to the outside edge of those feet, still keeping that spine nice and tall, and begin to open the legs out here, holding on to the feet. Keeping that length in the spine, letting the breath help engaging the core by, as you exhale, drawing up the pelvic floor, bringing the belly button in and up. And you can stay here, or if you like, begin to draw those legs together. Keeping the length in the spine. Taking 2 more breaths here. And then bending those knees, letting the feet come onto the mat, and let the legs come out long as you sit up nice and tall once more, checking in with those seat bones that you've got equal weight on them. And bending that left leg, just step it across the right leg, keeping these right toes pointing up to the ceiling. We're going to take a little twist, so letting the back of your right arm come on to the left leg as we just take a little twist here from the belly button. And again, allowing the breath to help you here, inhaling, finding length, exhaling, getting it slightly deeper into that twist. Noting how the breath is. Can it flow? Two more breaths. And then just coming back to center, let that left leg come down long, finding that space once again. Taking 2 more breaths here. And let's take that to the other side. So bending that right leg, stepping it across, and putting that
back of that left arm onto the right leg. So you've got a little bit of leverage here as we take our twist to the right. Connecting with the breath, letting the breath help you here. If you've got any points of tightness or tension here, just let the breath move into that area and help you to ease it out. And one more breath. And once again, coming back to straightness. Let's bend both legs and just shifting yourself forward, lower yourself down onto the mat. Down flat, and let those arms rise over the head behind you for a full body stretch here. And again, just noticing the breath as you inhale, allowing the body to fill and the belly to fill, and exhale. And one more breath here. And then let's just roll over onto the belly. Having that nice long stretch on your front side. Forehead on the mat, arms out in front of you. One more breath here. And then just drawing those hands back so they're either side of the chest, letting those elbows just come into the sides and point downwards. And pressing into the mat with your pubic bone, we're going to rise up, lifting the forehead and the chest away from the mat, keeping the gaze on the mat as you rise up. And lower yourself down. And let's just sync that movement with the breath. Inhaling, lifting up, exhaling, coming down. And again. And one more time. Good. And then from here, pushing yourself up onto all fours. Checking in with your alignment, fingers open nice and wide, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, feet straight out behind you. Let's just do a couple of cat-cows here. So tilting that pelvis, open the chest, raise the gaze. And then round through from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Starting to mirror that movement now with your breath. Inhale as you tilt the pelvis and open the chest. Exhale as you round through to your cat. Two more. And
then coming to stillness here. Let's bring that right knee forward into the center between your two hands. Let your right foot walk across and draw your left knee in behind it. So you've got one knee in front of the other, and then sitting back down, and you can let those legs, those feet just move away so your shins are more or less in a straight line with the back of the mat. Sitting up nice and tall here. And let's take that right arm, actually let's take that left arm and draw it behind us so it's behind your back, behind your neck. And bringing the right arm around, and it doesn't matter where it goes, so wherever is comfortable for you. If they touch, fine, let them touch, let them hold onto the fingers if you can. If you can't, if you really struggle with this, you can just raise the left arm and encourage it with the right hand. So again, listening to your body, breathing into it. And one more breath. And unraveling the arms, unraveling the legs, give them a little shake. And let's come back up onto all fours and take that to the other side. So that left knee comes into the center, right knee comes up behind it. Let the feet come out to the edge as you then come back to sit, and keeping the knees on top of each other, let's draw the right arm over and then the left up to meet it, or just having that right hand up. Breathing into it here. One more breath. And unraveling the arms, unraveling the legs, just letting them rock from side to side. And coming down once again to lie down, lifting your hips up off the floor, let your hands come underneath them, and then let the legs come down long. And we're going to lift up and let the elbows come onto, and forearms onto the mat, and then just let the head come back. So we've got a little back bend at the top of the back. Finding that length in the spine here. Your weight is on your arms, on your elbows and forearms. One more breath. And then raising the head up as you lower yourself down onto the mat, bending those knees and taking the hands out from under your hips. We're just going to lift up into a bridge. And then as we connect with the breath, on your next inhale, raise the arms above your head, and exhale, let them come down by your sides. And one more time. And then lowering your pelvis down onto the mat, lifting the feet up off the floor, bending those knees, hugging
the knees into the chest. Just give yourself a little bit of a massage here. And when you're ready, letting those feet come down onto the mat. Legs open out nice and long, and turning those palms upwards as we prepare for our final resting pose of shavasana. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that slow session, really focusing on the breath. I hope you were able to get the breath to help you and to really partner up with it for that practice. I will be back here again on Wednesday and Friday at 6. It will be great if you can join me either live or on catch up for any of those sessions. Do let me know if you have any queries or anything you'd like me to do in particular. But now it's time for us to let our bodies just totally absorb and process what you've been doing. You might have been moving slowly, but you are certainly asking your body to do a lot there. A lot of stretching, a lot of contracting. So let's just give it time to bed that in as you completely relax. Just let go your toes and the soles of your feet. Let go the tops of your feet, your shins and calves, knees, thighs, front and back, the whole of your legs. Just let them go. Letting go your glutes and your whole pelvic area, your belly, the small of your back, the back of your rib cage, the front of your rib cage, your shoulder blades and chest. Just let it all go. Letting go your armpits and your upper arms, your elbows, forearms, wrists, backs of your hands, palms of your hands, and your fingers. Just let it all go. Letting go the back of your head and the crown of your head, your forehead, eyebrows, eyes, cheeks, jaws, lips, and tongue. The whole of your body, just let it go. Allow yourself to be held by the mat. As you take a moment of gratitude here to your breath and to your body, and gratitude to yourself. And gratitude for everything that's working in your life today. And just observing yourself breathing as you inhale through your nose into your belly and exhale through your nose. Watching the breath as it moves through your body, a constant companion, steady and with you. And begin here to connect with your inner self,
take yourself to a nice forest. Noticing the smells, the sounds, the textures, the temperature. And walking through a glade, you'll hear a little stream gurgling away, the birds singing. Find a place here to sit and enjoy.